So here's your code snippet for today, as we will change our character later, and pause if you need to look at this. It's not very long, but basically I'm setting things up for seashells. I don't know why I specifically chose seashells. I swear I chose arbitrarily, and it is a mystery by someone else, so yeah, as we get that cold, and I drop a shoe in the background, then yeah, all you need to know is that I'm setting things up. I'll mention it afterward too, because there is a change that I did, so I'm gonna try and force seashells. We're not moving characters just yet, but I think we're called... Oh my goodness, I already forgot. Well, hey, I think I remember we're on Katak. So, for timestamp's sake, as we get into Katak, Colt custom character once more, let's take the action speed increase, because we'll need it. Also, yeah, I didn't cycle through all of our mysteries because I was doing a lot of things in the past 24 hours. Takshi's second mystery, knowledge, light, charisma, and maybe a dexterity check, but we'll see. I do not take the knowledge usually because I like the action speed, but if we run into a ghost enemy, Katak is going to absolutely slap us in the face. So, here's hoping. Don't know if I've ever used the rumor too much because of all the custom events. I've also added a custom event, but because this is more a setup episode, it will be a full episode. Yeah, oh my goodness, by the way. So we're going to look for seashells specifically. Make sure it's in this run. So is Taxi, but then we have Botanist, Sailors, Nails. So, Nails first, then then Taxi, then Seashells, because I... am setting up something, again, this you will not, if you grab seashells from the mini pack that this mystery belongs to, or that mystery belongs to, you will not encounter what I'm encountering, because it's all being done on my side, because normally, no matter who the creator, unless the creator grants me specific permission, whether I request it or just gives it outright on maybe their mod page or whatnot, then, yeah, I normally don't try to publicize anything that does not belong to me, so... Even though I'm making changes to it, that being said, that's a different story. I think, yeah, we do want to get a weapon by here. The way. We get, okay, I was about to say, I mean, the Q stick isn't the best, but it'll hold us until we possibly get the Demon Mask equipped. Maybe. Possibly. But, yeah, we have a different boss, and I was going to trigger the boss. So, a lot of perm stuff, basically, is what I was going to be asking. Throughout this video, and it's because I haven't tested it myself, so for no one else, it's for me to listen to myself later and make sure that I do certain tests and whatnot, because I think I crashed the game twice, but for good reason. One of those reasons, as I explained, is that I've already set a variable, and so I'm trying to require this variable as a requirement to an event, on top of requiring, or on top of just outright changing an event in a mysteries eto file. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. Again, this is if for no one else than myself. But, if that's the case, I mean, there are ways around it. I don't need to force it. I was just wondering if I could switch an event on the fly in a mysteries eto file while going through the invest. So, for example, you can force events in... Hold on, let me focus here for a moment. I also do have the thingamajiggy, but I don't know if I want to take 3 stamina damage. I think I can. Yeah, I can. And we do have the crit from this character's inbuilt passive that I built, but I think we're just going to handcuff here. Yeah. So in a mysteries eto file, as we get the restless bonus, that's right, that triggers that as well. Well, you know, for good reason. So hey, it makes sense. I'm trying to think. Yeah, in a mysteries eto file, you can force an event, and you basically link it to the event eto file that you're trying to force. In this instance, I tried to basically just add an if statement in that force variable, but which, again, the variable is the event, and so I was wondering if you can assign it to an eto file through an if statement, which doesn't seem to happen because I tried that and it crashed. The second thing I haven't tested yet, because I didn't have, not for some reason, I know the reason why, it's because I didn't do an outright explicit test that's easy to do. Basically, you just copy the same event over and over and over in your custom folder and make sure there are no other events, and then set the game to only trigger custom events. In this case, I think the event is going to trigger because I removed the requirement, but what I was trying to do is pretty much the same thing, where it checks to see if a variable is active. Although with the way that so in the very beginning of the recording, I should have equipped the demon. Nope, we didn't need to equip it yet. So I think we'll just take minus for all, see how much we get from this, because yeah, we get the bonus from the kick. We don't get much else though, so I guess we will just actually brace first and ask questions later. But at the very beginning, I basically made it so that even if the mystery isn't on the board, because I haven't tested that yet, I made it so that a variable gets basically assigned because that mystery's eto file is included. I believe that's how it works. If it's not, again, I'm just saying all this out loud to think out loud, but yeah, I was trying to make it so that that variable that gets set is a requirement. So basically greater than 0, because if it's 0, the variable probably would not have been created at all. Or maybe it just returns false even if the variable isn't created. I forgot which. But, because I know sometimes you can set or look for a variable, and if it doesn't exist, it gets made in PERM. This is all PERM stuff. So again, if you don't work with PERM at all, this sounds like a load of hoopla. But, yeah, I was basically trying to have an event be possible to trigger, so it has a requirement to trigger, and based on this variable that I've set, based on the seashell mystery ito file existing, basically. I think I also have the kick, by the way. I don't remember if I do, but we're going to find out, because I'm going to throw in a kick here, and let's see how much damage we get. This is a lot of doom, by the way, but... Okay, no, we did not. So, instead, we'll throw in a kick and be on our way. We have a broken Q stick, which is the reason why, but the reason why I'm leaving it that way is because I want to equip the demon mask, and then, just use kicks for the rest of the run. A sharp weapon would be nice. I don't think it's necessary if in this particular setup, but well, we'll see. We're testing the character as well. Basically stress testing the character. Cigarettes, pretty much always. You're not going to convince me to do much else, although we will grab funds. Yeah, that's going to help out. It could have been a very bad curse, but we'll stick with it for the moment. And off we go. So yeah, those are the two main things. Triggering an event, which I could just... The Band-Aid fix would just to handle things in the event instead, and then just basically link an event. There's no reason to try it. Again, I was just doing it for curiosity's sake. But I think the more important one I would have wanted to try to do would be to have an event trigger, basically based on things. I'm just gonna mash through this, by the way. Oh, never mind, I got caught. That's what I get for autopiloting this. But anywho, let's just throw out a bunch of kicks. No, we can't. I'm lied. So we're just gonna attack instead, I guess. This isn't a bad amount of damage. I also forgot to use the cigarettes because I forgot to use the cigarettes. So we're just going to take the stamina damage for the moment. And afterward, we're going to see what I actually want to do. So, I think we will brace. And we'll do our best. Otherwise, this isn't a... I'm not going to be too torn up over missing this. But I will throw out the stamina damage so I can get some kicks down. In fact, I could do I could do it again. I should guarantee a kick, but you never know, right? We're just gonna go for the whole thing here because okay, we did miss a kick because it would have been a critical kick, but sadness happened. So, what's our real base damage? So it is 9, I believe. Yeah, 9 because the demon mask pushes that to 5 because that's added on immediately. I think. No, it's not. I'm going crazy. Oh, goodness. I don't know what's about to happen, so I'm just going to throw out an attack of some sort. But also throw the Q stick. And then we just take this in the face. Okay, we can get out. We got hurt a lot for it, but we get out. Oh, never mind. I can't do math. Wait, what? Did I count that wrong? What just happened to my face? Anyway, I will leave it at that. Again, I just want to end this for no one else than myself. I was testing 2 things. I'll test them out extensively over the next 24 hours before the next episode. But yeah, without further ado, if you had any questions, you know what to do. Otherwise, I'm just going to cut myself off because we did lose the run. That means I don't get to do my actual end. In the middle of my ending tirade, I'll call it tirade, I forgot that I was supposed to show you this boss. So I'll show you the boss. We'll use Aiko because we're not going to play a lot of base characters in this series. So let's get into it and I'll show you the end of Seashells. And again, I'll show you, I'll try to explain what I was talking about throughout the past 8-ish minutes, if you can see Seashells. And then I can actually rotate the other mysteries aside from Taxi. But, yeah, if I show you the end here, so what I was trying to do, and there are basically, there is a seaside event, it'll basically just use this image, but it'll be something else because it's an event you can run into outside of this mystery spiral seashells. So, and basically just running into it once will be the main requirement to change things. I think I specifically said that if something changes, I don't know, we'll do one off seaside investigation as this part gets slows us down, just to see if we run into it, but basically it just increments this variable, and I hope it does, but that's up to me to test in the next 23-ish, 24-ish hours. And afterward, though, once that gets set, basically it changes how the end of this event basically at least looks, but really changes the boss, so as I'll show you in a hot moment, I think Aiko here might even still die because of how much. So, you'll notice this looks different. I had to kind of guess what this looked like. I should probably make this a bit darker. I just followed the dithered pattern that what it looks like, I thought it looks like in the background, but it really should look like something else. basically more black on this picture to make it this hill not shine in the middle of this. But otherwise, this is supposed to be kind of like a blood splatter of what a blood pool. And yeah, and then I also messed up this line break because I thought that the line break was going to happen elsewhere. But yeah, as we get a different version of this boss, yeah, you'll notice that I like to line break a lot. I usually try to make the first line a lot shorter so that, and then I let everything else word wrap and I don't add any hashtags. That's the other side of things. But this time you get a different kind of version. So you'll notice something to note here as I just try to kick my way out and see how well I do. I'm not going to use memory extract. Is that if you run into the actual I was going to say seashell apostle. That's not the apostle's actual name, by the way. But if you run into this boss in base World of Horror, the boss will have basically 2 actual moving frames. So the boss's body itself, minus these black bubbles, will move from side to side on a slower frame rate than the middle here, which will actually shake at pretty much the same speed as how I'm looking at. So that's something that we don't have base custom content-wise, is basically separating the layers, to say, and having them move separately from another part of the image, which kind of would be a bit much to do, because that would either involve, well, actually, it would just involve basically 2 separate images, one being transparent so that you can have it shake like the middle, while having basically another image, whether it's the body or the image is shaking there, to be another separate or bottom layer. Kind of like how we have our status effects or status cards. I'm trying to find anything. So memory extract here has a background of this, you know, this diamond square in the back, but then it has this person in the forefront. That's kind of how you would try to separate them. But again, that would be quite a bit of work for anyone involved. So as we end this here, so the ending doesn't change, but it does change the journey, which, you know, arguably can be just as important. I could add an ending, but just getting the boss and event to change is kind of what I'm working on at the moment, just for self explanation's sake. So, or just, you know, practice, if nothing else, for making more custom content for World of Horror. But otherwise, let me know if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, criticisms. I'll just end this video because I did lose the run and I don't want to give myself more time, because that's kind of the self-inflicted house rule punishment. See you later.